Yo, what's up, YouTube? Today we're going to talk about, spiritual warfare and warfare. Um, there are many different types, okay, of warfare. Back in the day, old school, there was cannons, guns, so on and so forth. This type of warfare has become outdated because with the knowledge that man has acquired, we have reached a crescendo, okay, where now we have so much knowledge in terms of knowing how to destroy uh, the world and the earth that we've had to change our ways of warfare because if you look at history, like take for instance the Cold War, you had countries stockpiling these nuclear weapons to the point where it became a cause for concern having all these nuclear weapons and knowing the amount of damage that these nuclear weapons can do. So people started storing the nuclear weapons away and, dismantling allegedly these nuclear weapons. But we know they just stored them away somewhere, right? Because it was mankind's race for power, and that power came by way of knowledge. And with our knowledge, surely we know how to destroy better than we can create, because we can't create uh, anything living with our hands, right? So after this race for power, okay, then we came into reaching this crescendo because our technology got so good that we know how to manufacture weapons of mass destruction. We obviously can't use it. So warfare would change into particulars. Warfare would have to become more surgical. This is where you get into government agencies such as FBI, CIA, um, assassins that do wet work in the black market. Um, you know, Things had to become more surgical. In other words, why go to war if you can remove an individual from society without destabilizing that society? And then individuals could implement uh, factors factors of control. You understand what I'm saying? To control society, uh, and this is where we get into um, agents and assassins, such as when you watch films such as like Jason Bourne, so on and so forth, pertain to espionage, because the world is regulated by lies. If you look at, take for instance, America being bipartisan and people having such strong emotions and feelings towards these political powers, why is it, okay, uh, that you can never quite get individuals to agree, okay, on anything, all right? And when you have society, and you could break it down basically into two hemispheres between Democrat and Republican, and people are so devout into their votes, into believing that they will elect a dude into office and he will solve all their problems and be their god. Uh, this is purely madness. And it was, I forget who said it, but it was I believe it might have been a French king who said something to the guys of give the people circus and peanuts, and they care not, you know, who has the power, right? And this is kind of the society that we live in today. Most people are not informed, so therefore you have a society that is half asleep. The only individuals of concern would be so-called conspiracy theorists, right? Um, Outside of that, you have uh, all forms of political unrest that is being controlled. Okay, it's not that it's not happening. It's just that there are agents in place internationally to control these events. Okay, so when it comes to the spreading of information, because people are more attracted to when individuals die rather than the life that they live, martyrs are created all right, to push an agenda or a propaganda forward. This is how things work in society. That individual is magnified. Now, there is, billions of people on the planet, all right? But why are certain individuals who lose their lives more prominent pertaining to newspaper articles, so on and so forth, than other ones? Propaganda, okay? So the new warfare is knowing how to, knowing information and knowing how to utilize information against others, all right? And creating the least amount of unrest as possible, all right? And this is usually surgically done, uh, pertaining to the black market or individuals who do wet work uh, that society would annotate as assassins, so on and so forth. All right. Um, so warfare, due to our advancement of knowledge, which has been predominantly destructive due to our desire for power, uh, warfare had to become more surgical, more personal, more pertaining to individuals in society to control the narrative, propaganda, or information, because information is this new age war where warfare has even changed from things such as controlling the narratives, particularly through wet work, is through information. So hackers are going to be a prime, they're going to be a prime candidate, okay, for regulating the warfares of today and age. This goes into the common masses who are sleepwalking in public, who downloads tons of applications while they don't take the time to read the terms or agreements, giving up all their personalized information through their uh, streaming network straight into their household due to an agreement that they have on an app on their phone. I mean, application terms and agreements is one of the quickest ways for individuals' freedoms to be removed, and yet because we're so distracted and we don't seem to care, or there doesn't seem to be a problem, not knowing that these things are regulated and controlled by the information that you receive straight through your internet, because everybody's internet is personalized. You understand what I'm saying? That not only does the algorithm or the supercomputer know what type of things you like, it knows what types of things that you're looking for, which means it has a feel or understanding for your type of mind. And if it doesn't, it can control or coerce your mind to think in a certain fashion or way. Okay, certain things can be promoted more than others. You know what I'm saying, on your streaming devices, so on and so forth, and through your applications and your advertisements, which ads become targeted. The targeting of ads directly equates to you being spied on. Everything that you buy, everything that you look at online, they have to draw this information from somewhere, and it has to come from third-party sources. So individuals agree to these terms and agreements on their cell phones and applications without reading, because people don't read anymore. All right, unless you're one of those supremacist groups that lives in their outfits in the woods, and these guys read a lot of books because they don't have TV and things like that. You usually see them because they have scissor cut haircut, and particularly dated prescription eyewear. But the fact of the matter is, these individuals still read, okay, but they're not going to be able to escape Skynet, okay. When they start talking about wanting to spread the internet grid, to be worldwide, to reach every place in the world. We're talking about like even in the Amazon where it's like no man's land. When they start talking about spreading the internet and implementing uh, uh, 5G, and shortly after they start raising these towers near parks and schools and things like that where it would radiate the trees around them, all of the parents voicing out their concern over their kids and the radiation. None of this reached mainline news, which means the common citizen that you're around doesn't know shit. and doesn't talk to anybody about anything except for things that are superficial. And the minute they think they're woke, all they speak is in terms of PSA. I mean, society is gaslighted to shit, man. Like, people's information is so crazy. They just kind of sleepwalk around, man. And this is a new form. You know what I'm saying? This is all in modern, more modern terms of warfare. Okay, which is going to be more subtle. Okay, than prior periods because of the advancement of our technology and knowledge. You know, so it's a battle of it's a battle of intellect. You know what I'm saying? The individual with the most knowledge is going to be king, as information is more prominent or more king than cash is in this society. And and to tell you the truth, there's two things more prominent than cash: labor and information, which can be used for leverage. These two things are superior to cash, um, as far as king in society. Um, so, given this type of things, you have a society where society creates a harvest through the guise of world religion and oftentimes misunderstood doctrine, where the doctrine doesn't line up with the scripture and Christianity. And people frequent churches under this glossy eyed interpretation of what the Bible actually talks about, and in a woke society. Okay. Um, you know what I'm saying? People are sleepwalking, man. You understand what I'm saying? Information puts people in formation. So, if I know the world is a circle and you're standing with your friends in the form of a triangle, anything I ask or say to you, I'm going to understand how you think because you're going to be off by a mile. You understand? If I know you're supposed to be standing in a circle, but with your friends, but you're standing in a triangle in this world, you know what I'm saying? In other words, take for instance the flat Earth phenomenon. Like, if you have an understanding of the world that is different in a drastic measure, you know what I'm saying, then the rest of your perceptions and perspectives are generally going to be off because you're going to use the same rationale and logic, all right, that you apply to your foundational understanding of reality. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, based upon the information that I give you or educate you with pertaining to whether it's true or false, you see what I'm saying? If I give you deceptive information, right, then you're going to appear off to me because everything you say or do to a certain extent, all right, is not going to correlate with knowledge of the truth. You understand what I'm saying? So the one who grows up and tells the truth, he can see everything that's a lie. You understand? But liars don't see anything. Individuals who lie, they don't see anything, right? You can control them by their perceptions. You can tell them what to see, just like a Jedi mind trick. They adopt the opinions of others without having any of their own, and their mind is only exercised in sociology and groupthink. You know what I'm saying? And this whole thing breaks down just the same into government agents, so on and so forth. All right, but these individuals aren't superheroes. All right, they're not. They're individuals that exist in the same matrix of lies as you do, and more than likely only has the information or knowledge that they carry, but no understanding of how their core essence or their mind works. Everything that they're going to approach in their best effort in a scientific measure, rather than being emotional and intuitive, because it's the only rigid structure that they have. Therefore, one can map and begin to understand what an individual thinks within a few questions. The most common form of warfare is spiritual warfare that pertains to religions. And all religions are one within Masonic temples because individuals become Masons. Therefore, every religion is a world religion, even Christianity. But to be religious and to be spiritual are two different things. Most of this world lives in the ideation that they are spiritual when they are not. They are religious. These are two different things. All right? So, when you break down this situation and come into understanding of these things, and also understand that when individuals become Masons and they study the lesser keys of Solomon and they go through these rituals, so on and so forth, even though Jesus Christ is King of Kings, then you have these young ladies with keys tattooed on them because they have the female in society has become a commodity of those with resources, which are going to be Masons, or Masons is going to relate to the tribe of Ham. See, individuals don't understand the Bible. More constructively than appearances is what an individual does. All right? It's very clear in scripture. White people think that black people are Ham. Ham is the progenitor of the dark races, comma, not Negroes. That's in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. So when you deal with the church organization that believes the same thing, when do you have that many people agree on one thing? And how many people read? There's two things missing there. The facts and their perception is wrong. So you see, within all that space, it's easy to understand the common psychology of an individual that adopts the same knowledge the same knowledge as society. This is called sociology or groupthink. All right, most individuals cannot think for themselves. One thing that was always strange to me is when you date a young lady and that young lady can't think without her friends, then you're dealing with a hive. You're not dating one lady, you're dating like, I don't know, 50. All her girlfriends, everything inside of her head is like she needs some type of confirmation from a girlfriend. This goes into the lesser keys of Solomon dynamic. All right. If it's not an ideation of possession, it's an ideation of principle. And this thing doesn't sit well because unless you bow down and join this Masonic circus, right, in which has a pyramid or in a hierarchy in which individuals are controlled. The women are most controlled. The females are most controlled in this situation as a commodity. And females in society, based on psychology, attraction is not an option if it's based upon resources. This is the nature of females. Now, men who's been steeped in psychology know this. Thus and therefore, they raise some stories about the Disney princess. They break their heart. You have the good girl gone bad archetype in entertainment. And then you have the working lady in red, which deals with the older audience of society of the female population. So, at the end of the day, all right, so society with all their technology is still in a survival-based intellect. And with all our technology, we should be thriving as individuals. This is not what's going on. We are not thriving as a society. In fact, we have become more asleep. And who's to say that the wife that you're dating, so on and so forth, that's also a Mason, that her handler isn't having relations with her, and so on and so forth. And who knows who else pertaining to her mind that is controlled by a key that you may or may not have as her husband. That's why I ask individuals, are you married to the game? Because if you think that you're pillow talking with your wife, or if you're a young lady pillow talking with your husband, but yet they're controlled, okay, by other human beings, if you're not at the very top of that pyramid or that hierarchy, you know what I'm saying? You have no idea who you're sleeping with, or what you are sharing, or what you remember. Because I just explained to you how flighty the mind is and how psychology is a new form of warfare. And it's commonly adjusted on society through your news, so on and so forth. Okay? The only news that you see is the propaganda that they want you to receive. All right? And while individuals won't talk to their neighbors about voting, okay, they somehow have all reached the same agreement on who they will vote for. Meaning, if you belong to a certain agency or union workforce, then from the top down, they tell you who to vote for, and you have to vote for that person. So your first freedom and your freedom to vote, you can have it as long as as long as you vote the way that somebody else will. So individuals, all right, do not know how to think for themselves. They assume because they have thoughts that they know how to critically think, and that's not true. So the intricacies in human psychology has declined along with the advancement of knowledge. And I find this highly suspect. Peace and blessings be with you all. I'm out.